Hey, Music Man here. Not sure why this video is being made, but oh well! Dead by Daylight is an asymmetrical multiplayer horror game, geez, that's a mouthful, where one player takes the role of a brutal killer, and the other play four meaningless survivors who... Just shut up. As a survivor, your goal is to escape and avoid being caught and killed. As a killer, your goal is to sacrifice and slaughter any survivors your good little heart can. Yeah, alright. You already knew that shit, so let's stop reading the wiki page like everyone else does. Besides the gameplay, what more does Dead by Daylight have to offer? What secrets lie beneath the realm of the Entity? Who is the Entity? Why are there so many Claudettes? In order for us to learn more about the Entity, we need to go through what we know, and everything we know is actually thanks to someone named Benedict Baker.
You shut the fuck up!
Benedict is a survivor we actually cannot play. More on that later. He's someone who observes us in the background. All we know about him is what he left behind, his journal. Inside are dates and entries on what he's observed. In this journal are a few passages about the Entity.
Entry 17. The Entity is a force of darkness from an ancient place with no name. No sense of purpose other than to endlessly torture its victims over and over again. It is torture and not death it seeks, as there is always an escape. Perhaps it feeds off our hope, as it seems to offer it to us before crushing it cruelly at the last second. With each death, I feel myself weaken, a little piece of my soul devoured by the darkness before I awake. I fear, eventually, that I will lose hope. I wonder then, what this dark entity will do with me then. I want to find out, but I fear the answer. Am I alone here? I believe I have seen traces of others as the beings haunt me. All I seek is that soothing, flickering campfire light. Entry 26. Each killer seems to have been pulled from a place of great darkness. Their own violent actions summon this most ancient of evils from its slumber. The Entity reaches out, taking them into a place between worlds where it demands they do its bidding. They must hunt and kill the prey set in front of them. Some go willingly, others need to be convinced. The Entity tortures them until they are much less human and far more thing, until the last light of humanity has faded from their souls, and they take up their weapons and sacrifice the survivors. The killers are needed to feed the Entity, with the hope that keeps it alive. I am a pawn in this parasitic charade. Entry 49. My travels have revealed 4 hellish places, connected by one true evil. Each one features a past so violent and disturbing that it all ends up a jumble of things I will never forget. In these places of such foul thought, something lurks between the fabric of what we know is real and the dream world. Awoken by violence, it touches our world, pulling the killers and survivors to it. The more it pulls from the real world, the stronger it becomes, and more it spreads. I came seeking answers, but I drown in riddles instead. I know not how long I will be able to carry on. I have all the time in the world, but only during the small pauses that I am granted. During the hunt, my time is restrained. I learn more and more, but my hope and sanity deplete faster and faster. What is to become of me? Have the killers started out at this campfire too? I bid this journal adieu. I must focus on staying alive.
So, this is the Entity, an unstoppable god that feeds on hope, who plucks people from different realities and forces them to play a game where no matter the outcome, you go right back to where you started, the campfire. Kind of a lose-lose situation if you ask me. Ha 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 ha, funny lol. It is highly theorized that in the entity's realm, time is non-existent, meaning that every trial, which again, a trial is the name of the game that the survivor and killer play, every time the entity wants to start a trial, it picks 4 survivors, seemingly at random dimensions, time, meaning yes, those 4 Claudettes are the same person but from different time zones and dimensions. Kinda hard to understand, I know, but shut up, look at this. Think of it this way. Does Michael Myers, Leatherface, and Freddy Krueger live in the same universe? No, unless the movie deals are made.
Poggers.
The reason the entity has all 3 of them is because the entity plucked them from their own worlds, own dimensions. Just put them all in that little trial thing and just said, hey, you guys have fun. After, torturing them and all, but you know what I mean. Same goes with survivors as well. Even the ones we haven't met yet, like Benedict. Benedict is a non-playable character, but he's a survivor who is believed to be alive. Meaning that not only are the survivors we play as the ones a part of the entity's realm, but theoretically, more survivors can be a part of the trials. Survivors we haven't even seen before. Which could explain DLCs, or you could just say the entity expanding, grabbing more people. But as of right now, that is the basic lore of Dead by Daylight. An endless god who takes people for granted, just puts them in a little trial and says, you guys fight, and depending on what happens, he just feeds off the little hope that they give off. Yes, delicious hope. I can't wait to eat more.
Poggers.
Now that's just the basic lore. I could get into a lot more theories that people have come up with, like the Hallows Eve event, where a strange someone experimented on the killers behind the entity's realm. Most people assume it's to be Benedict, but that's the topic for a whole new video, and, I haven't even done my research yet, and, I don't know if I can. God, like, reading the wiki page is pretty fucking hard. Thanks again, subscribe if you're new. If you're not new, just go away, and, goodbye.